I'll abide by your strictures, Deputy Presiding Officer. As I was mentioning to the Parliament earlier on, I've just come back from launching the Scotland's Climate Justice Fund with the former Irish President May Robinson. The Scottish Government is providing some £3 million for the fund. I know because of the debate on the 1st of March that this is an initiative which is supported unanimously across this Parliament. Therefore, it's interesting thinking for a second about how we came to be in charge as a Parliament of climate change and now of climate justice. As I understand the position, in 1997, when the rules were drawn up for the Devolution Act, the Scotland Act, it specified what areas were to be reserved. At that stage, climate change wasn't regarded on anyone's radar as one of the key issues, and therefore it wasn't specified in the legislation, and therefore it wasn't reserved, and as a result, one of the most important issues in a planetary scale was devolved to this Parliament. Now, this Parliament has taken forward that responsibility incredibly well. We unanimously passed as a Parliament the climate change targets, and we are one of the few parliaments in the world which has managed to do that. This year, we've gone further and established a pioneering climate change fund to have some equity in terms of the distribution of the impact of climate justice. Because today, for the first time since the beginning of the political union, the elected representatives of the Scottish people gathered here today in this Parliament will be asked by a Scottish Government to agree that Scotland should become an independent country. An independent country that will stand alongside the other nations of these islands in a situation of equality. Now, today, the members of this Parliament will be heard as the elected representatives of the people of Scotland. The people who know most and care most, by definition, about our country, the people who are best placed to determine the nation's future are the people of Scotland. I believe this Parliament has achieved a great deal in its short lifespan. The smoking ban, the world-leading Climate Change Act, the new legislation to help tackle Scotland's relationship with alcohol, these are just few of many, many advances. But this Parliament is not yet able to make many of the key decisions which affect the lives of our fellow countrymen and women. Since devolution, we as a Parliament, we as a people, have shown we can make a success of running our own health service, our schools, our local government, our police, our courts and much else besides. Indeed, Dennis Canavan has made this very point. Drawing on 26 years as a Member of Parliament at Westminster, a further 8 years as a Member of this Parliament, a substantial, vast experience across two parliaments, and that has now led him to the conclusion, as a convert, that Scotland's future lies as an independent nation.
If he's given this Parliament the choice today, the decision today, why is he not trusting the people of Scotland with the decision today?
First Minister.
Willie Rennie is out of date. His coalition partners, led by the Prime Minister, said he's not fussed about the date of the referendum. It's now been accepted by all parties that it's going to be in the autumn of 2014. So all that huffing and puffing over the last year didn't mean anything at all. It was a fake argument from a fake Parliament in Westminster. And unlike Willie Rennie, I do trust the people of Scotland with these decisions. I know they'll make better choices for Scotland, as a Westminster Government could at any given time on any given day. Now, last week, the Scottish National Party and the Labour Party, representing nearly three-quarters of the electorate, voted together in this Parliament to attempt to mitigate the consequences of Westminster's misguided and damaging welfare reform programme. The key word for
Joanne Lamont.
Now doing and regret advising people in England to vote Liberal?
First Minister.
Listen, I think of all the people who have regrets about the Liberal Democrats, I think there are thousands of erstwhile supporters will be up there rather more than me, but I think Joanne Lamont should maybe issue her regrets about being hand in glove with the Tory party at the present moment. We know she wasn't at the meeting, because it was 6 men at the Alistair Darling meeting, but we do know her deputy was there, representatives of the Labour Party and the Conservative Party in cahoots against the wishes of the people of Scotland. I was saying before I was so fortunately interrupted. The key word, presiding officer, as far as the welfare reform is concerned, is mitigate. And the question for all of us, why should we be limited to mitigating, to lessening the impact of these Westminster policies on thousands of families across our nation? The opposition to this motion today would have us stand back and say, that's all we can do. I say far better if this Parliament had the power to stop the Tory dismantling of the welfare state. There's a message and a clear vision. Westminster continues to spend billions on weapons which could destroy the world. Scotland should spend on social provision which could be the envy of the world. Now, last Friday, the co-convener of the Scottish Green Party, Patrick Harvie, and I took part in the launch of Yes Scotland. It's going to be the largest community-led campaign ever mobilised in this country. Already 15,000 people are backing the Yes Scotland declaration. Over 3,000 volunteers signed up to support the campaign. Give way to a party which may or may not have 3,000 members left.
Ruth Davidson.
I wonder if he counts amongst his number my deputy, all the political editors of Scotland and everyone else whose Twitter pic was harvested and used in support. And
First
we just
Minister.
went against their wishes in order to further that.
First Minister.
No, we've managed to extract you all from the website. We've taken out Donald Duck, Osama bin Laden, Joanne Lamont. They've all been taken out of the website. Now, I have to say, I think there's a bit of envy going on here. I have been looking at the followers in various people's positions and for tweeting. This is the Twitter followers at the latest count as of this morning. And the First Minister, that's me. 20,490. Willie Rennie, the only poll the Liberals come second in the whole of Scotland, 2,405. Joanne Lamont, 2,383. Ruth Davidson, 1,988. Now, can I just say to the Conservative Party leader, my advice is to tweet more interestingly. Tweet more interestingly and you'll get more followers if you try very hard indeed. The range of support is impressive. Brian Scott is supporting an independent Scotland, even though he's from a Labour background. And Friday spoke powerfully of his own political journey. No, thank you. Tommy Brennan. Well, listen, I've taken 3 interventions thus far. I'm not sure that the members' intervention will be any better than the first 3. He spoke powerfully of his political journey. Tommy Brennan, one of Scotland's greatest ever trade union leaders, is backing independence. Well, I don't know if that laugh was for Tommy Brennan, but in my opinion, he did more for Scottish industry than any member sitting on the Labour benches. Paul Leslie, a former Conservative councillor, is supporting independence, and most people around that way are former Conservative councillors, so I understand. Peter Dodge, a crofter, Joe McElroy, disability campaigner, Tasmini Al-Sheikh, chair of the Scottish Asian Women's Association. What unites all of these people across society is common cause and shared purpose. We believe that the people who care most about Scotland, that is the people of Scotland, should be in charge of the nation's future. No one, but no one, will do as good a job for our country than the people of Scotland themselves. That's why being independent will enable our country to make the progress it needs to. We can realise the potential and build a nation that is fairer, greener and more successful than we are today. The timetable has been laid out. Next year, the Scottish Government will publish a white paper setting out the detail of the independence prospectus. It will present the Government's case for independence, the starting point for the nation. How will we be governed? will be a prospectus that's put before the people in 2014. That prospectus will be a single-chamber parliament, a First Minister and a Cabinet selected by Parliament as today, elections using the same system of proportional representation, local government with the same powers and responsibility, a High Court, a Court of Session that resume their historic roles as the Supreme Courts of Scotland. It will set out Scotland as a member of the European Union, the Queen as our head of state, and yes, sterling as our currency. On the first day as an independent country, that is how Scotland will be. Presiding Officer, I remember campaigning with the Labour Party, not with the Tories, but with the Labour Party in the devolution referendum. And we made it very clear the job of the referendum was to specify the nature of the devolved Parliament. Then it was up to the people to decide which party ran that devolved Parliament. So once we set the structure of the state, then the people of Scotland will decide whether they want a social democratic Scotland with the SNP, a socialist Scotland, perhaps not with the Labour Party, but people will put forward that position, a green Scotland, a free enterprise Scotland, or whatever combination of policies the Scottish people so choose. For all of us, the single most important question to ask ourselves in representing our people is it not an essential truth that the people best placed to run this country are the people of Scotland ourselves? And if we lead this nation as a Parliament should, speak out with clear voice today, then we can be better placed to build a Scotland that transcends the experience of this Parliament and betters the lives of every man, woman and child in Scotland.